Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to this, your June 1st through June 15th reading and predictions. This is a general reading intended for anybody born under the sign of Sagittarius, as well as anybody else who has a significant amount of Sagittarius elsewhere in their charts. For those of you who are returning, a very warm welcome back. And for those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome. You will notice that I am still in the same location as I was for the mid to late May readings. I'm still just outside of Medicine Hat, Alberta. And isn't it crazy that I'm still wearing my warm sweater? Yeah, welcome to mornings on the prairies. Late May, I'm doing this recording almost at the end of May, and in the mornings, I'm still having to wear my sweater. So all right, Sagittarius, let's get started. The first card that we're going to pull for you, Sagittarius, is cards that have a peek at where you're at now here at the end of May. Got one card that's jumped out, two more. Oh, wow. Cards really want to get talking this morning as I'm pulling them. Okay. This was the first card out, next one, and next one. Okay, for those of you who are new here, I do pull all of the cards while I'm on the video, but I do leave them sitting face down until I'm actually ready to read them. And I find that in so doing, it allows for more of the psychic and intuitive stuff to come in rather than my conscious mind seeing a card and then beginning to form a story around that ahead of time. The next card that we're going to pull is going to be cards of what you are focusing on. What are the Sagittarians focusing on for early to mid-June? Early to mid-June for Sagittarius. Okay, we've got some cards here that are kind of sticking out, but nothing really jumped out. So let's go through the deck a second time. Yeah, there we go. All right, we've got two cards that you're focusing on. Oh, and there's another one, and that one's all the way down on the floor. Is there anything else that the Sagittarians are focusing on? No. Okay. Now, I don't edit my videos, but what I am going to do is pause and just get that card from the floor. Oops. Okay. All right, Sagittarius, the next card that we're going to pull is going to be cards of difficult influences. What is challenging Sagittarius at this time, early to mid-June? Wow, cards are just popping out everywhere. Okay. So let's pick them up in the order in which they came out. We have that one, and this one is last. Okay. The next cards that we're going to pull, Sagittarius, are going to be cards that just make sense. Now, for those of you who are new here, the card that just makes sense is a card or cards that either pull the rest of the reading together if the reading seems a little bit disjointed initially, or the card that just makes sense has identical meanings to one or two of the other cards in your reading, thus giving you that double reinforcement that the energy or information intended behind that card is really super important for you to pay attention to at this time. So the card that just makes sense, for whatever reason, these messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle cards by Stephen Farmer. And no, this is not a plug. I do not have any affiliate links or anything, but for whatever reason, these particular cards come out so often when I'm looking at the cards that just make sense. Don't know why, but they do. Okay. All right, so we had this one, and then these two, and then this one all face down. Okay, the next card that we're going to look at for you, Sagittarius, is going to be cards of unexpected. Where are we going for that? Over here? All right. Unexpected. What is unexpected for Sagittarius? Yeah, I'm getting the call to do this again. It's a card near the top. Okay. Unexpected influences and insights for Sagittarius. Okay, we do have one card. Actually, there's a couple of cards here. I don't know if you can see here that did not go back into the deck along with the rest. So we'll accept that those are your cards. And the final cards that we're going to pull for you, Sagittarius, are going to be the cards of your general overall outcome. These are the cards that predict or project the furthest into the future for the intended time period for this reading. Where are we going, please? Okay, we're going back over here. So as we begin, so shall we end with the fairy deck? Okay. All right. I think we're going to end up, because we've got cards flipping out and flipping over everywhere here. I think we're going to end up having to shuffle what's coming out. I had two cards flip over and then land back in the deck. So this is the general overall outcome cards for Sagittarius for early to mid-June. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, because there's so many cards coming out, is I'm going to shuffle the cards that have come out. And there's one more here. Okay. Because your general overall outcome at the moment looks like this. So I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here, Sagittarius, and say, and begin predicting right away. And what I'm predicting is that your general overall outcome may at first glance appear a little bit messy. So let's just put these cards in. All right, now we have a much smaller deck. Let's have a look at your general overall outcome and see what wants to come out. You know, we still have some cards in here that are reversed at this time. Let's see how they fall when they land. All right, general overall outcome. That card almost folded in half in my hand, and that one flipped, and that one. Okay. All right, Sagittarius. Where are we at right now? You have the 10 of Summer, also known as the 10 of Cups, and that is attached to the 4 of Autumn. And then you have the Queen of Summer, and then you have the Hermit for where you are at now. Okay, so where you're at now, you have the 10 of Summer, also known as the 10 of Cups, followed by the 4 of Autumn, also known as the 4 of Pentacles, followed by the Queen of Summer / Cups, followed by the Hermit. And it's important to note that you have this 4 of Pentacles in between your 10 of Summer and your Queen of Summer. The 10 of Summer, so there's a couple of cards in the deck that are known as really, truly happy cards. One of them would be the Sun. One of them would be the Star, and the other one is the 10 of Summer, also known as the 10 of Cups. This is a card of, well, the 3 of Cups as well, but this card is known as one of the happiest cards in the deck. It's a card of fruition. It's a card of happy relationships in your life. It's a card of things going your way. But right next to that card, you have this 4 of Autumn. The 4 of Autumn is a card of managing your resources wisely. And in fact, in this particular deck, in the Osho Zen deck, the 4 of Pentacles, also known as the 4 of Autumn for this deck, is known as the Miser card. And what that's telling us is that we need to be budgeting. We need to be budgeting our time. We need to be budgeting, in this case, because you have the 4 of Pentacles surrounded by cups. This is telling me that you need to be budgeting your time with regards to relationships in your life. Okay. The suit of Summer, also known as the suit of Cups, is all about relationships. And like I said, normally this card would be about budgeting money and time with regards to your job. But the fact that you've got it surrounded by cups is an indication that someone in your life may be commanding too much of your time and effort and energy at this time, Sagittarius. And so as much as this is indicating a really, really positive emotional life, a really positive, fulfilling relationships, this card is saying, you know what? Pay attention to how much time you're spending on relationships versus how much time you're spending on job and career. Is someone dominating too much of your time, thus taking you away from other areas of your life that may require your attention? The Queen of Summer is a card of paying attention to your heart and your intuition. What is this telling me? Well, this is telling me, yes, your relationships are going pretty well, this 10, but someone's commanding a little too much of your attention. And you need to find that balance. How best to find that balance? Well, call upon the Queen of Summer or Queen of Cups, tap into your intuition and figure it out. If you're having trouble tapping into your intuition, you can call upon the Hermit to help you. And the Hermit is about withdrawing temporarily, pulling back from society and commitments in order to be able to meditate, go within, and discover the truth about yourself. The other thing that the Hermit can sometimes represent is the Hermit can sometimes represent a helper or a mentor coming in order to be able to help you sort things out. So just be aware of that as you are going into your intuition here with the Queen of Cups, in order to really try and find the balance that these two cards are indicating, if you're having a little bit of difficulty tapping into that intuition in your normal everyday waking life, call upon the Hermit to either bring in a mentor for you or for you to be able to pull back temporarily and really go within and discover what it is that's going on with this Four of Pentacles coming into your 10 of Cups. All right, Sagittarius, let's have a look at what you are concentrating on. Okay. So one of the things that you're focusing on, you've got the Knight of Pentacles here. You've got the 10 of Swords, interestingly, another 10. Okay. Unfortunately, this 10 of Swords is not the positive card that this one is. And you also have the 3 of Swords here. I think this Hermit is going to be really important, and I'm going to keep going back to the Hermit and the Queen of Summer here, because these two cards, the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, are indicating that remember what I said here, you've got a little bit of a conflict in some kind of relationship coming up, wherein it seems as though somebody is taking up a little bit too much of your time. And these two cards, the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, are indicating that as you wake up to this realization, this person is not going to like it. The energy that is out there, they're really not going to like it. So you'll notice on the 3 of Swords that you have a heart with 3 swords going through it. That's an indication that someone in your midst is not necessarily being as open and honest as they could be. It signifies the severance or termination of something, as does the 10 of Swords. The 10 of Swords is about the ending of something, the ending of a cycle. It's about clearing out the old energies that no longer serve you. It can sometimes indicate that this could be perceived as a failure or ending in ruin. In actual fact, it's not, because you have this Knight of Pentacles here, which is actually quite a positive card. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But going from this 10 of summer and this 4 of pentacles right next to it. And these other 2 cards calling upon you to really go deep within and determine what's right for you, coming from a place of intuition. These 2 cards are indicating to me, Sagittarius, that at this time, there is a relationship, either single or several relationships that are terminating or that are coming to an end. And what comes to mind for me, Sagittarius, is that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And although some of the people that have come into our life may be perceived as being there for the lifetime, perhaps they were only intended to be there for the reason or the season. And so I'm picking up that those energies are coming up for you here early to mid-June, Sagittarius. Now, like I said, this is not all bad, because what the 10 of Swords brings in for us is a clearing. When we accept that something is ending, we have the opportunity to start something new. And that's what this Knight of Pentacles, is coming in on his horse or his stallion, and he's riding in with good things, good news with regards to money, finances, job, career. And he's all about security and bringing you the security and the that sense of really, really knowing that certain decisions were right. He's bringing that with him. So it's not all bad here. And just keep in mind, Sagittarius, that the one thing that's constant in life is change. And that includes changes in the dynamics of our relationships. Now, these may not indicate a 100% termination of a particular relationship, but these are definitely indicating changes and shifts so that a particular relationship or certain relationships with certain groups of friends are no longer viable on the same wavelength that they have been existing. Okay, so this may not indicate a full-on termination, but your relationships are definitely changing and shifting in a big way. And it's probably because of your awakening, right? When you begin to see things from a different perspective, you put different energies out there, and then you stop resonating with the same frequency as the friends or family or girlfriends or boyfriends that you used to have. Okay, before I get into these cards, the reality is, Sagittarius, everything is energy, and we know that everything is frequency. So when we have really good positive relationships with someone, such as with the 10 of summer, this means both friends and family, as well as romantic partners. We are resonating or vibrating on the same frequency as them. So as their wavelength is going like this, our wavelength is going like this, and everything is hunky-dory and it's beautiful. Okay. But as you begin to change, they continue to do this, and your energy may begin to do this, or vice versa. Okay. What that means is that you may still meet at certain points during this frequency adjustment, but ultimately they will continue their frequency and you'll continue your new frequency. So it's not like there's this full-on complete termination, unless that's what you choose to make it, because Sagittarius, you have free will. You can change anything in this reading if you want to by adjusting your frequency. But yeah, I mean, the reality is these cards are all indicating that there is a change in your frequency, and that is directly going to affect your relationships. Let's get into your difficult influences. Your difficult influences, you have the Heart Guardian in here. This is a card of love. Isn't that kind of the theme of this reading? Yes. So Sagittarius, this is coming up in your difficult influences. What is that telling me? That's telling me that you're really struggling and bumping up against this frequency change that you're experiencing and is thus infecting or affecting your current relationships. You're bumping up against that. It's in your difficult influences. You have the mountains in your difficult influences. This is a card of stand your ground. In difficult influences, what does it tell me? It tells me that you're experiencing a little bit of difficulty standing your ground right now and going forward with fully embracing this new frequency. And you have the high priestess, harness your mystic powers. What did I say a minute ago? I felt like this was an awakening for you. You're adjusting and changing your frequencies, Sagittarius. And in so doing, you may experience a little bit of difficulty in that, oftentimes when we begin to awaken to new energies, it comes in fits and starts. It starts and you're going, yes. And then all of a sudden it goes, then yes. And then, and so that's what this card is indicating, is that you're in this place where your frequency is a little bit more choppy, and that will affect the relationships. Let's have a look at your cards that just make sense. Okay. So your cards that just make sense, you have the diamond or the radiance. Let yourself shine through. Let these new energies shine through. How are you going to do that? Well, you're having a breakthrough right now. This lightning bolt. This is a card of awakening. This is the card that corresponds to a card such as the Tower in the traditional tarot. Okay. This is a card of woohoo, I am awakening. I am here. I am seeing things differently from the way that I used to. My frequencies are changing. Wow, things are changing. You also have the volcano, the release card. This is a card of letting go of the past, but this is also a card of awakening. Sagittarius, these two cards together, and the fact that these two cards came out side by side is actually really, really powerful for you at this time. Like I said, this one kind of corresponds to the Tower. It's about awakening. It's about letting go of the past, no longer allowing the past to unduly influence us. And you have the volcano card here. This is a card of releasing the past, letting go of that which no longer serves us. And sometimes that can have explosive results in our relationships because we are changing, we are growing. The next card that you have in your card that just makes sense is a card of balance. Okay. So as you are going through the volcano and the lightning bolts, you're being asked to remember that you can create balance from these other two exciting cards. It is possible. The fact that you have two tens are an even number, 2 5s make up tens, which creates a balance, is an indication that yes, Sagittarius, you are definitely going to create balance. And the fact that you have this diamond on the other side of your lightning bolts and your volcanic release, you're going to shine coming through this. You're really going to shine like a diamond. You are meant to be going through this right now, Sagittarius. In your cards of unexpected, actually, they're not that unexpected and not that unsurprising. You have the fogged in card. This is a card of take your time, go slow. As you're doing this awakening, you may feel at times like you're fogged in. You may feel at times like you're unable to make decisions because you've got all this new information coming in, Sagittarius. And the other thing is that as your friends and relationships change and shift, as indicated by all of these cards, there's a significant number here in your initial part of your reading. It can make you feel like you're fogged in or experiencing something that's foggy. Why? Because the people that you had in your life, the relationships that you had in your life, those relationships are no longer stable. And so the people that you used to consult with for certain types of advice, you may no longer resonate with the advice that they are sharing with you anymore. Right? If you're not vibrating on the same frequency as the people that you used to consult with for advice, the advice that they give you will no longer resonate with you. And that's going to make you feel kind of foggy and lost. You also have the First Light card in your unexpected. This is a card of new beginnings. This card actually kind of corresponds a little bit to the Fool card in the major arcana of the traditional tarot, indicating something brand new is beginning for you. Now, this is not unexpected, right? This is a card of unexpected insights and influences. And as I turned it over, I smiled to myself because it's not that unexpected, given these other cards that have come in for you, these other changes that you are experiencing right now, right? What else is being indicated here is it's not surprising that you have the First Light and the beginning of a new cycle. Let's have a look at your general overall outcome. Yeah. Okay. So in your general overall outcome, you have the Eight of Summer. The Eight of Summer is the card of seeking a more meaningful and fulfilled life. And in particular, remember, this is part of the suit of cups. This is about relationships. So you are, what I'm picking up for you, Sagittarius, I'm going to wrap this up in just a moment for you. End of May going into early June, you are experiencing changes and shifts in your relationships. Some of your relationships are no longer resonating with you. They no longer feel right. Someone may even be in that position of, you know, almost dealing with some really, really difficult heart issues, some being stabbed in the heart. And so this is end of May, early June is a really difficult time for you, but your general overall outcome. Now, remember, everything is cyclical, right? So what you're experiencing end of May, early June is temporary, because the cards that are coming out for the middle of June for your general overall outcome are really positive cards. You have the Eight of Summer, indicating that when it comes to your relationships, you realize it's time to let go of the past, time to release. You have a desire for more meaningful, deeper relationships with this Eight of Summer. You have the Queen of Autumn coming in, Queen of Pentacles coming in, and she's all about beautifying things. Okay, she's all about being sensible in the decisions that you're making, but she's also making decisions with that feminine side, that feminine energy. But right next to her, you have the King of Autumn. So you have the Queen and then the King. What does this represent? A new relationship. New relationships coming in to replace these ones. The King and Queen of Autumn are on the same page. They're both from the same suit. They represent the masculine and the feminine. They represent being able to make balanced decisions. Oh, right. Cards that just make sense. When you have a king and a queen of the same suit come in your general overall outcome, Sagittarius, it's about finding balance. So with that, I'm going to leave off your reading. I think that as much as the initial cards indicated some imbalance, some frequencies that were just not matching up, some relationships that just are not really serving you anymore, the general overall outcome is building deeper relationships, potentially a new relationship coming in that is going to be far more balanced for you, Sagittarius. Okay. With that, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you again in mid-June for your next reading.